Daniel will talk. You know Daniel? You see him? Daniel Mtimkulu is our top engineer on rolling stock in the country. It's Dr. Mtimkulu. We invested in him. Many companies in the world wants to have his services, wants to employ him. And I'm very proud that we're being able to keep. He's been leading the team that entered into design process, not only with Transnet, the RSR, but with he's been spending half of his time in Spain in the design of these locomotives. One of the best rolling stock engineers. But maybe because he's black, isn't it? That his authority cannot be taken seriously. German companies, he studied in Germany too. German companies want his service to run on maintenance, engineering and everything.
A passenger rail agency of South Africa, Prasa, has confirmed it's received a resignation letter from its head of engineering services, Daniel Mtimkulu. This follows revelations that Mtimkulu had lied about his engineering qualifications. Mtimkulu has been on suspension since the scandal broke and was due to face a formal disciplinary hearing. As head engineer, Mtimkulu was instrumental in procuring 20 diesel locomotives from a Spanish manufacturer at a cost of 600 million rand. However, the locomotives too have been a source of controversy. It's alleged they are the wrong size for local railways. However, Prasa has repeatedly denied that.
Crimes of fraud are in essence crimes of dishonesty. Mtimkulu's actions had an adverse effect on ordinary South Africans that could have benefited from the money that was unduly paid to him by Prasa, and the sentence therefore sends a strong message to those that steal from their employers, who are a source of provision for their livelihoods.
Daniel Mtimkulu, Dr. Daniel Mtimkulu. There's a gentleman that I'm going to send this podcast to who used to work with Daniel Mtimkulu. And when this issue of Dr. came, he would remind me that, hey, Masha, do you see that guy? In a meeting, he would demand to be addressed as a doctor. Well, we know he's not a doctor. Well, I'm part of those who believed the then Prasa CEO, Lucky Montana, Comrade Lucky Montana, Honorable Lucky Montana. I'm one of those who believed that this guy is indeed a doctor. He had power. Why would he fabricate things? Because you must just go and get them. But it's not the only one. And as you would have expected, I'm not him. I'm not here to talk only about him. I'm here to talk about what does this mean. So, does it open floodgates to all other fabricated qualifications, people who earned money because of these qualifications? Is he going to be singled out? Is this a precedence? They say 15 years direct imprisonment. I do not know what it means. In South Africa, you know, they can sentence someone and then appeal after appeal. Jacob Zuma has been appealing for a very long time now. So I don't know, guys. What does it mean? He's going to jail for having fabricated. Can we give you documents? Can we give you someone? Let me give an example. Someone gets appointed into a position in 2020. They're appointed in a position in 2020, and the position needs matric. The person only got matric in 2021 or 2022. That in itself is clear, according to the Mtimkulu, 15-year jail sentence, direct imprisonment. What does it mean? What is it that we must do? What precedence is it going to be followed? Should we be happy? We're talking about Paulo Jordan. There was a doctor when I did the podcast when I did the podcast when that comrade Matthews, the doctor Matthews, fabricated his stuff. There was an Indian guy. He said he is a doctor and he would go to DA wearing all this things. The DA appointed him, they worked with him, but only to find out he's not. But the media didn't run with him. Mazoni. So Mazoni is the DA one. I'm always confusing Mazoni and Mazoti. Mazoti is the cigarette guy, and then Mazoni is the DA lady. So tell me, then what happens? Because people have done this, and now we've got precedents, and they did not change any law. I understand this, they have not changed any law. What has just happened is they just found him guilty. There was a guy, I think it's a Johannesburg Roads Agency or someone, who has also done the same thing. They took him on, but he contested. He said, I did not tell you I have these qualifications. You assumed that I have. But I'm just interested in hearing what is it that you guys have done. So those who don't know who Daniel Mtimkulu, just follow whatever I'm going to post here just to find out. Mashana Politically Incorrect, please tell me what should happen to the others, and let's name them. Let's name and shame them, and let's find out how far is it going to go. Why are they singling out this young man and not the others? Thank you.
Former Prasa engineering head Daniel Mtimkulu will appeal his 15-year sentence handed down in the Johannesburg Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today. This is in relation to faking various of his qualifications after being found guilty on 3 counts of fraud over 2 years ago. He'll return to court next week, where the application will be heard. Newsroom Africa's Ngobile Madlala has more.
Mr. Mtimkulu, your case, or the court postpones your application for leave to appeal until the 19th of September, back to this court 8:30. We will entertain your application on that date. You are in custody from now. There is no bail any longer. Do you understand that?
Faking at least 4 degrees, so former Prasa executive Daniel Mtimkulu appointed as head of engineering at Prasa.
Daniel Mtimkulu is our top engineer on rolling stock in the country. It's Dr. Mtimkulu. We invested in him. Many companies in the world want to have his services, want to employ him. And I'm very proud that we've been able to keep. He's been leading the team that entered into design process, not only with Transnet, the RSR, but with he's been spending half of his time in Spain in the design of these locomotives.
He joined Prasa as an intern in 2002, and by 2010 he was appointed the head engineer after claiming to hold several degrees, including a doctorate in engineering management from Munich University.
In his CV, he stated basically that he's got all of these qualifications from Vaal, from Wits University, and that he obviously obtained a doctoral degree. So that charge of that 4th count basically revolved around that CV, which was also, a fraudulent document. After it came about, that he was a fraud. The whole thing was in the media. Then Prasa actually requested him to provide proof, of his academic qualification, and then he produced those two documents, which actually turned out that it was in fact fraudulent documents. So the University of Vaal Technology actually acknowledged that he was indeed a student there, but he actually never got to complete those qualifications.
He also lied about receiving a job offer from German company, which saw his salary balloon by over R1 million.
It was basically a fraudulent document which was presented to Prasa, and then Prasa made him a counter offer of 2.8 million.
In 2015, Very Tall Trains ultimately revealed his very tall tales about his qualifications. He was fired after sourcing locomotives that didn't meet the South African specs, which also raised questions about his qualifications. Mthimkhulu was first convicted in 2019 as Prasa sought to recover its money, and the court ordered that he repay its 5.5 million rand. Once considered the most qualified engineer at Prasa, Mthimkhulu will remain behind bars for now.
On to the story now. Daniel Mtimkulu was hired as an executive position, perhaps I should say, at the Passenger Rail Authority of South Africa, that's Prasa, back in April of 2010. He worked as chief engineer for 63 months and got paid more than 15 million rand. And then it was discovered that he doesn't have the qualifications for the job, and calling him a doctor was just a nickname. He didn't have a PhD, in fact. Now, under his watch, locomotives were acquired that could not be used, perhaps, on South Africa's rail infrastructure, now costing Prasa billions of rands. Now, the court has ordered Mtimkulu to pay back some of that money that he got paid. Well, he joins me in studio this morning to talk us through that particular court judgment. Mr. Mtimkulu, thank you very much for making the time to speak to us here. In fact, the basis of this interview is that you called us wanting to set the record straight about, of course, the court judgment of 23 September. In short, what is it that you want to correct? Just very briefly.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mkambi, and the viewers at home. Thank you for this opportunity. I believe it is time that I share the side of my story because there's been a lot of information and what has been publicized and said about me. So I never had any right to reply. And before proceeding with, I think, anything else, I would like to take this opportunity to admit that I do not have the PhD, and I failed to correct the perception that I have it. I just became comfortable with the title. I did not foresee any suffering, damages as the result of of this, because I got to be known at the time after I was already appointed as at the position of the executive manager. In 2010, beyond 2010, I never got any promotion as a result of this, so-called title. This is because in 2011, I was already appointed in this position, and I did quite a lot of research work with the University of Stellenbosch. And other universities in Germany. So basically, I will just, share the bit of detail.
All right. Mr. Mtimkulu, let me tell you this. In the interest of time, I think let's just quickly touch on the key points here. Now, the first and foremost is your admission that you do not have a PhD. What's the highest qualification you have?
I've got a diploma in engineering.
You've got a diploma in. Where was that acquired?
At VUT, Vaal University of Technology.
But that has been disputed by the courts. Are you saying the courts are wrong?
Well, basically, I'm saying it can be proven. I've got it.
All right.
Yeah.
And then, in your view, what got you promoted then in April of 2010 to be head of engineering at Prasa?
Basically, if you look at I joined Prasa in 1998 as a training assistant engineer. With all I never got to apply for any position in Prasa since then.
So you had a promotion in 2010?
Yeah.
Simply because of your work experience?
Because of the work experience.
All right.
And the competencies and the skills I actually possess.
Now, just 5 months into that top position of head of engineering, you then got a salary increase, a massive one at that, and that nearly doubled your annual salary of 1.6 million rand. What got you that, or what motivated for that to happen?
Okay, I think I've got a copy here that I'll just want to leave it with you. Basically, there is a company in Germany called the PTEC System. They gave me the offer. At that time, I was ready to leave the organization because I felt that I've done what I needed to do. So at that time, Prasa felt that they needed somebody who can be able to still proceed with, to fulfill certain key, projects.
Let me speed this up, Mr. Mtimkulu,
Yeah.
because we don't have time.
Sure.
That letter was said to be a fake letter in order to get you this salary bump.
Yeah. Well, look. Basically, if you go to the court state, basically you'd see the Prasa's attorneys, worksmen, send an email to the very same company in Germany. The company confirmed. I can refer you. It's part of this.
All right.
This
we'll have a look at those documents.
Yeah.
All right.
So what is the letter saying basically? The letter is simply saying, yes, indeed, we did give an offer to Mr. Mtimkulu. It was not sent by me. It was sent by Prasa's lawyers to the company directly in Germany. They confirmed.
All right.
And that is part of my dispute that the court overlooked, because it is in black and white that the email was initiated by Prasa's attorneys.
All right, Mr. Mtimkulu, unfortunately we are out of time. Hopefully we'll get you back here to try and look through some of the detail that you are presenting us with here. But thank you very much for making the time to speak to us this morning. That was Daniel Mtimkulu. He's the former head of engineers at Prasa.